Do you suck at sniping? Do you want to go quickscoping the shit out of everyone? Or maybe you just want to like genuinely, like improve your sniping? Well, I've got the secret formula to improve your sniping. Step 1, watch this entire video. Step 2, buy Kovaak 2.0 for $10 on Steam. By the way, I'm not sponsored or anything by them, but that would be like kind of cool if somebody wants to sponsor me, because like I'm kind of broke and yeah, I'd like to quit my day job. So yeah, can someone sponsor me? Step 3, practice.
But we talking about practice, man. Practice?
Yeah, Alan, there's no magic secret to just magically getting better at your aiming, okay? You actually have to put in a little bit of work. I mean, you could just buy like aimbot, but don't do that, please. All right, so now to get to the actual video. So here's how the video is going to be laid out today. We're going to first talk about settings and just how to set up Kovaaks in case you're brand new to it. Now, if you're a Kovaak expert, like, I don't need this, that's fine. I'll put in the timestamp below. You can skip right ahead to the good stuff, which you actually came here for. But if you're new, I'm going to walk you through this. So once we've gotten into Kovaaks, it should look something like this. So first, if it like pauses for you, just hit escape on your keyboard. Next, go to settings. All right, so we're gonna start in the main menu here. So for sensitivity scale, so this video is gonna be focusing on Call of Duty and Call of Duty Warzone. If you're playing that is gonna be the Overwatch sense scale. Obviously, if you're looking at other games, there's other scales in there for you. So this is gonna be, you're gonna match your sensitivity to whatever it is in game, 4.25 for myself. Make sure your vertical sense is locked. And then the other big stuff is gonna be your FOV. For FOV, you're also gonna wanna do Overwatch. What I recommend is mostly keeping this at 100. However, sometimes it is good to, if you play on an FOV higher than 100 in game, such as 120, which a lot of PC players do play on, including myself, you can totally put this to 120. However, sometimes for some routines, it's gonna feel way too zoomed out. And in those situations, you're better to put it back to 100. Moving on to keybinds, we really don't need to change anything here. Weapons is an important tab. So your zoom sense multiplier is basically your ADS sense. So for mine, it's 0.7 in game, so make sure you change that. I recommend doing hide weapon just because it's annoying and kind of looks bad, so I get it out of there. Hit scan graphics is if you want to see the bullets shooting. I leave that unchecked, but you do whatever you want to do. All right. Next is going to be your crosshair. The most common is going to be just a simple red dot, so you can pick through a variety of images down here. I'm pretty sure my face cam is in the way. And then you can also pick your color. I just go with a standard red dot. You can thicken this bad boy, make it real thick or thin, but I leave it at 1. Moving on to video, not much to change here as well. Visuals is an important tab though. So if we take a quick look at my visuals, this is gonna be your background. So I have like a stone looking background with a wooden floor, along with I have just white enemies or boxes here. So I believe it defaults you at like a solid color. Do not do that for your walls in your background. A solid color makes it very difficult for you to find depth. And that's very important because we shoot at things far away from us. Wow. So what I recommend doing is doing a texture. I have the rock sandstone texture on. You can do whatever, just make sure it is something that is textured, like one of the wood ones are good, or the ground gravel, any of those ones. And then same with floors, pick whatever you want. I do usually recommend doing something a little bit different in colors. And then for enemy color, you can do whatever you want. I just keep it to white. Obviously don't do the same color as your crosshair though, because that'd be kind of hard. Sound, if the sound's annoying, you can turn things off or lower and change all that. And yeah, that's the important stuff when it comes to setting up Kovaaks. All right, now to get to the actual part of the video. So this is going to be what my recommended top 3 scenarios are for improving your sniping. So at the beginning, I talked about 3 different things. I talked about precision clicking, click timing, and what was the other one? Oh yeah, flick shots. All right, so first, let's start with the simplest to understand. That's gonna be precision clicking. So this is gonna be best demonstrated by 1 wall, 6 targets, small. So you can go to online scenarios, you can search that in here, and then if you want, you can hit the plus button and you can add it to a playlist. So I have my playlist, the Ultimate Sniper Training Program. So I have it down here. So we'll hit play. So this is simply going to be 6 small targets. When you kill one, other ones go away. Now, if you're brand new to Kovaaks, if you are not holding your right click, it's going to be your hip fire sense. If you are holding your right click, it's going to be your ADS sense. So it's going to slow that down a little bit. So all this is working on is when you're trying to snipe someone at a distance, and let's say their head is only barely exposed, they're on a head glitch or something like that. This is going to work on those fine precision movements with your wrist to really lock in and get on the person's head. Also, if anyone has high scores than me, please comment below. I'm very curious. I think I have some pretty decent ones. I'm 94th percentile on this one. Got a score of 930. Not bad. All right, another good option that is very similar to that one is wide wall 10 extra small. So this one is very similar. However, it's going to be a wider field of view, so you're able to make larger movements from one to the other. Very similar concept though. If you like one or want to kind of change between the two, that's fine. Now let's discuss flick shots or flick training. So this is going to be one of the hardest ones, and it can be extremely frustrating if you're newer to PC aiming and you're not kind of a high-end aimer or whatever. So there's three scenarios here. There's the reflex flick. It goes easy, fair to hard. Highly recommend starting with easy. Even myself, who had been doing Kovaaks for a long time before I discovered this routine, I struggled on fair and I got really frustrated and wanted to stop. I've been working on it a little bit over the past few weeks, and it's really helped my sniping a lot. So start out with reflex flick easy. So essentially what this does is it's going to pop up. It's only going to be there for a short amount of time. So you have to very quickly click to it. Easy is about half of a tenth of a second longer than fair. And then it goes in half of a tenth of a second increments from easy to hard. So now if we go to fair, this is going to be a little bit harder. Fair also, the target is a bit smaller as well, so you have to be more precise. So you have a smaller target and less time. A lot of people, when they start to do this one, they're going to really struggle, get really frustrated. Keep with it. It's okay if you're missing. Always try to hit that flick shot, even if you know you're missing. When I first started playing this one, I was like, my first few percentiles were in the bottom 50%. I've now got it up to the 87th percentile, which is decent. But like I said, this is a hard routine. Personally, I've barely even tried hard because I really want to master fair and be much more consistent in it before I work to hard. But if you really want to be that try hard, go ahead, try for reflex flick hard. Right here, down. Down on the loadout. So when I was going through editing this video, I realized I didn't do a very good job of explaining how important this scenario is and why it's so important. Basically, this forces you to quickly and accurately get to your target. That's the whole point of sniping, is to, as quickly as possible, get to the target and hit them before they can start shooting you. All right, and then the third, and what I think is the most important routine that kind of puts everything together, is going to be one wall, 5 targets, passive or passive. So what this is you have 5 targets that are moving around constantly. They'll move and they'll bounce off of each other. They'll bounce off the walls. They'll randomly change directions. So this is going to work on click timing, where you have to track the object and time when to click it. So not only is this a click timing thing, this is also tracking. So a lot of people think, oh, tracking doesn't matter in sniping. You're just clicking on their head. When in fact, when you have a moving target, it's extremely important to be good at tracking. If you get it downed him, cracked him, downed him. Downed one out of the heli. So this is probably one of my favorite routines, and it's an extremely hard routine. I'm in the 95th percentile on this one. I've got a 77 score, so not bad. All right, I got my webcam out of the way for this. So you guys probably saw that I had several other routines listed in this training program, and I want to kind of explain those other routines. So these other routines are almost like a warm up to the actual routine. So tile frenzy is one of the most common ones. All it is 3 boxes that come up and you click between them very quickly. Now, what I like to do personally is I start with this routine. I'll do 1 to up to 3 times, and I work on hip fire sensitivity. So I am not holding right click. So This is important for when you have to quickly get to someone. You have to get your center dot onto them before you ADS. That is a very important thing for sniping, is hip fire sensitivity. So this is a good warm up and practice so that you can flick to that person and get roughly onto them before you aim down sight with your scope. So next I have a other very similar one, which is one wall 6 targets. This is another one I like to do hip fire, and this is just a little bit smaller, going to be a little bit more precise at getting your hip fire sense kind of warmed up. So once I've done those two, I then normally go to reflex flick flare. I'll usually do 5 of these. And if you create a playlist, you can hit edit and you can put the amount of times that you want to do this. So typically I do not do easy at all, but you could totally warm up with that. And then I really do not do hard at all. So then once you get to reflex flick flare, you can do this. You can do it 5 times. And it will automatically go through 5 times. And once you finish that 5th time, then I go to one wall 6 target small. So this is going to be the precision clicking. If you want to do the wide wall one instead, you can put that in there. You can do 2 and 2, 2 and 3, whatever. Typically, I simply do one wall 6 target small. After that, I then go to the final one, typically of one wall 5 targets past you. However, if you're someone that you're kind of newer to working on your aim and whatnot, you might want to start to warm up your tracking. So what I recommend with that, Fugla XYL long strafes is one of the best ones for basic tracking. What this is going to be, and I recommend doing ADS tracking for this, so holding your right click. This is just an object that's going to go around for about a minute, and you're just going to work on tracking it. Seems pretty easy, but you want to get your percentage or your accuracy extremely high. So for mine, I've got an 80% accuracy. I'm actually in the 99th percentile for that. So that is a very good one to warm up your tracking and is good for many situations besides sniping. Obviously, any full auto gun, you need to be good at tracking. Another one that I like a lot for tracking is airfar long strafes. So this is going to be similar, but there's going to be more of a vertical component to this one. And it's going to be a little bit quicker of movement compared to the other one. So this one is another one that I'm ranked pretty high in, 99th percentile, 277 in the world, pretty solid. So then I would move on. Personally, I don't always do these tracking ones because tracking is one of my strengths, I think, in aiming. So I normally go straight to pass you. And then I'll do my 5 of these. And this is another one I definitely focus on doing ADS sense. So I am holding my right click during this. And that is one that I will always do 5 times. So to summarize, I would recommend doing Tile Frenzy and one wall 6 targets, 1 to maybe 2 or 3 times, depending on how much you want to work on that. Reflex flick fair 5 times. Unless you're not comfortable doing fair, start with easy. One wall 6 targets 5 times, and then pass you 5 times, unless you want to work on tracking. Now, another thing I recommend outside of Kovaak's and actually in Warzone itself, if that's the game you're looking to improve your aim on, is going to be if you have multiplayer going into a private match. So set up a custom game. I have it saved where I can go to my game mode and go to sniper warm-up. So essentially what it is for me is under game rules, I've turned the swirl limit up a bunch, and then under gameplay, I've turned it to headshots only on. So this is to work on obviously hitting headshots, as that is the most important thing in Warzone because that's a one-shot kill. So then from there, I'll go to bot setup. I usually just leave it on regular and I'll put it to the max of 11 typically. Usually try to pick a more open map. Some of my favorite ones are Euphrates Bridge, Grozny Raid is a good one, Arklov Peak is another one, or you can do a smaller map and just, work on quick scoping or whatever you want to do. So once I'm in this game mode, basically I can just run around and head scope a bunch of people, and it's also good for kind of working on quick scoping, and it's just a good warm-up in general. It's not the best for like long-term snipes, but like I said, it's meant to be a good warm-up, and you can really work on centering your hip fire. You can really work on centering your hip fire as well. So trying to have that white dot on the center as close to their head as possible before you aim in, as it'll make hitting your shots, especially closer shots, way easier. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the routine. Now, the big question a lot of you are thinking is, how much do I need to do this to get better at aiming? Well, really, it comes down to being consistent. And my general rule of thumb, what I've been doing is I do that routine or another routine similar to that basically every day, at least once a day. On some days I might be able to get it in twice, but typically it's just once. And usually that routine takes me 15 to 20 minutes. It's really not that bad. And then if I'm really wanting to, I can spend another 10 and 15 minutes in Call of Duty itself, in a private match like I just showed, warming up that way as well. Guys, if this helps you, please let me know. If you guys are looking for other certain scenarios to get better at, like tracking in general, such as close quarter tracking, long range tracking, semi-auto clicking, things like that, let me know, and I'll be happy to share my routines for improving those specific scenarios as well. And guys, if you want to check me out on Twitch, I'd greatly appreciate that. If you want to have a conversation with me and ask more about things, how to improve your game, improve your aim, things like that, my Twitch link will be in the description below, so feel free to hop in chat, say what's up, and ask any questions. I love helping people out and try to make them better, and love interacting with chat. So guys, I appreciate you watching the whole video if you're still here. If this helps you, please consider giving this a like, and maybe even subscribing if you want more content like this. So thank you guys, I appreciate you. Go be a better sniper.